Will she end up with Ben or will she end up with Paxton? That's been the question for the last 3 seasons. And you can bet they put us through the ringer before giving us the answer. To set the scene, we pick up right where we left off, with Devi cashing in her 1 free Boink coupon with Ben. And it went as well as you could imagine. I'm talking limbs everywhere, awkward silence, the whole 9. So Devi couldn't wait to get out of there, and Ben practically holds the door open for her since they're both mortified. Not knowing how to move forward from this super awkward encounter, they both get advice from other people on how to handle this situation. Devi goes to Fab and Eleanor, who tell her to play it cool. And for some reason, Dwight Howard makes a cameo and tells Ben to move on. I'm over here thinking Netflix has the budget for Dwight Howard, but they don't have the budget to cast some friends for Ben. Like, it's getting sad over here. So Devi ends up showing a little bit of growth in this situation, and she tries to meet up to have an adult conversation with Ben. But from the advice that he got from Dwight Howard, he was told to basically just move on from the situation. And Ben took it upon himself to not even have a conversation with Devi and completely blew her off. Ben's really over here like, growth? We don't know her. Even with Ben being super immature, Devi still plans on being mature about this situation. But when she gets back to school, she sees he has a new girlfriend. And at this point, she's like, you have me 10 different ways of messed up. She tears him a new one so loudly that the new girlfriend chimes in. Ben's new girlfriend is the artsy chick from last season that they try to make relevant like at the last 2 episodes of the season, but nobody really cared about her and we still don't. She pretty much tries to my man all through the conversation, but Devi's like, girl, I still hit it first, so what's up? So basically all this commotion leads to them getting in trouble, and I'm not quite sure why Ben wasn't included in that, given the fact that he was literally right next to them. So to me, that's a little bit of a plot hole right there. But this leads to a rift with Devi and the artsy chick. Side note, I will be referring to her as the artsy chick because she wasn't important enough for me to remember her name, and I just didn't feel like looking it up. So all this drama gets heightened when Devi's car gets tagged with stupid BITCH on it and accuses Ben's girlfriend of being the culprit. This to me was their lazy and clumsy way of introducing us to the filler hottie of the season, Victor Salazar. Just kidding, his name is Ethan in this, but shout out to that show. Love Victor, A+. I've been seeing online a lot of people love Ethan, but to me he is probably the most pointless character in the entire season, because he's really just there to be hot and do nothing else. He briefly causes a small rift between Eleanor and Devi, since Eleanor likes him first, and I probably should mention that Trent tried to propose to Eleanor and they broke up, which I don't know what the point of that was because it didn't really bring growth to either character in the season, but I digress. So Ethan, aka the walking red flag, kiss both Eleanor and Devi, and Eleanor is like, yeah, I'm good on him, but somehow for Devi, I guess he's hot enough to where the ick factor just wasn't there for her, and she continues to date him, which I can't judge her too harshly for because I too was a fool my senior year of high school. She finally wisens up when he literally pickpockets the admin lady at Princeton and sees 0 issues in his actions. And from there, he's literally never seen again. So you can see why I say he's completely pointless to the plot line. So sliding back into Ben and Devi, they haven't been talking because somehow he determined that Devi is a problem, even though she had every right to be mad at his decision to basically hit it and quit it and not even have the cojones to have a proper conversation with her. Honestly, this part was really, really hard for me as a Ben stan because Ben, what were you doing the first half of the season? Even though Ben is giving her basically the silent treatment, Devi extends yet another olive branch to Ben and helps him during his college admin interview when he spilled something on his shirt. At this point, I wouldn't really care about the friendship with Ben, to be honest. Like I said, this was really hard for me to be a Ben stan because he was just acting so childish. Not too long after, he realized Artsy Girl was for the streets when she tried to downplay her relationship with him to some little random man. This is basically when we start seeing a turning point in Ben and Davy's relationship. I honestly felt a little bad for Team Paxton this season because there really wasn't that much with them. You could kind of tell where they were going with the story. Paxton was really doing his own exploration as a college dropout who wanted to basically cling on to his high school glory days until he realized he was better than that and started acting his age and really making a difference as a swim coach. Paxton's journey into finding himself as basically a mentor figure came from a beautiful substitute that he worked with. Do not ask me her name because I'm sorry, y'all. I just could not be bothered in learning somebody's name in the final season. I mean, look at what they did to Anissa. She literally had a total of 5 minutes screen time, so just bear with me. But through that friendship, he did end up finding his stride, and it was really beautiful to see. Devi and Paxton did share a closure kiss, but it was pretty obvious throughout the season that they were just going to be friends. Devi and her girl gang really didn't have any issues this season. Devi and Fabiola had a brief issue when Fabiola took her pre-decision spot at Princeton, but her new platonic buddy Paxton pretty much told her to get over herself. Devi somehow got into 0 colleges, even as a valedictorian and a well-rounded student, but she was waitlisted at her dream school, Princeton, and eventually she got in. The best part of the entire season to me was seeing all the characters really struggle with what's coming next for them. It was a great decision to show that excitement a lot of the time comes with fear, and I truly feel like that was the most relatable thing that they wrote this season. Ben and Devi really went throughout the season struggling with their feelings towards each other. They weren't quite sure if they wanted to just be friends or if they wanted more. And before they could resolve it, Ben ended up going to an internship in New York a little bit early, and that's when he realized he should have told Devi how he feels. Ben, of course, does come back to tell Devi how he feels, and Team Ben shippers can celebrate in unison because they do end up together. I was always Team Ben because I felt that they made the most sense in the long term, that they had the same goals and ambition, and even though Paxton wasn't her endgame, he was the reason for a lot of her self-reflection and a lot of her growth, and definitely the reason why she began loving herself, so that should definitely be noted. I do think they wrapped this show up very beautifully. Melanie ended up in a relationship with Margot, aka Ben's ex's dad, who by the way is a zaddy. Patsy ended up getting married. Kamala ended up going to Johns Hopkins in Maryland, so she's close to Devi. Fab didn't end up going to Princeton, but she found her dream school in Howard. And Eleanor decided she was going to make movies, and her and Trent lived happily ever after. While Paxton ended up dating the teacher that he befriended, which we all saw coming from a mile away, and he ended up dropping right back into college. And most importantly, Devi got to go to her dream school with her dream guy at Columbia. I'm so happy that Ben was endgame. I can't believe we graduated from Sherman Oaks, y'all. Like, this is crazy that this show is over. It got me through a lot of difficult times, so I'm very happy that it was made. And I do hope that Netflix produces a lot more shows with people of color as leads and shows us into different cultures. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. Make sure to watch the Evolution of Devi video. I'll make sure to add it to my playlist. If you haven't subscribed, do it already because clearly you like the sound of my voice. And make sure to comment below which TV show or movie I should review next. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.